Good morning all. Welcome to the class. Okay, let's begin here with the lines and angles, which we started last time. A very simple topic, and it's revise almost all the concept what you have learned it before. Okay, so let's have a recap what we did last time and then move on further. Okay, last time when we discussed, we started with point, and you know that from a point you can draw infinite lines as lines. It can be extended on both the sides, right? And to draw a line, when we compare it, like when we talk in terms of points, there are 2 points which determines a line. That means when you take 2 points, you could draw a line passing through both the points. When you take more than 2 points, say let's suppose 3 points, it could be divided in 2 ways, like it could be drawn in 2 ways. Either you take 3 points passing through the same line, which call them as collinear points, and if they do not lie on the same line, or a line cannot pass through all 3 points, we call those points as non-collinear points, right? Further, moving on to lines, we divided, like if you take a part of line with one side point and extended on the other side, we call it as a ray. Completely ending on both the sides, we call it as a line segment, right? When we talk more than 2 lines, like when we talk about lines, we can draw 2 lines in 2 different ways, either intersecting or parallel lines, right? We did this much, and then we moved on to angles, and depends on the measurement of angle, we have the namings, like acute angle less than 90, straight angle, that is 180 degree, exactly measuring 180 degree, that is straight angle. Between 90 and 180 degree, then it is obtuse angle. Complete 360 degree, then we 360 degree, that is complete angle. Between 180 and 360 degree, we call it as reflex angle. Okay, and then we moved on to complementary angles and supplementary angles. As you know, they can be separate, they can be joined. Then apart from complementary and supplementary angle, we moved on to adjacent angle. So now I begin here again with adjacent angle. Defining adjacent angle again. Okay, what do we call here? You could see here 3 angles: angle POR, angle ROS, and angle POS, the biggest of all, 2. Right? When we talk about these angles, now I'm defining adjacent angles, so we could identify out of these 3 which are making the pairs of adjacent angles. Okay, a pair of angles will make adjacent angles. Naturally, we want 2 angles to show that they are adjacent to each other. So what the definition says, or the condition says for it, we will have common point or a common vertex. You know that we talk about point as vertex, the other name for the point. Second, they have common arm. And the third very important point, which it says disjoint interior. So out of these 3, the pair which satisfy this condition, we call them as pair of adjacent angles, or rather directly, they are adjacent to each other. Now common vertex. So if I take about POR and ROS, look at these 2 angles. Okay, common vertex O, so O is common for all 3. Common arm, yes, OR is common for this angle POR and angle ROS. Okay, whereas the third one, the interiors are disjoint. Means you could see this interior part of the angle. So this is for POR, this is for ROS, and they are separated. They are separated by the arm OR. Fine. So they make the pair POR and ROS make the pair of. We are talking about angles. Okay, so they make the pair of angles. I hope this is clear to you. Now, when we talk about these angles, right, we have the questions based on it to find the measure of the remaining angle. Okay, so the bigger one, POS. Do you can see that PO has common vertex? It has common arm with OP, it has common arm with OS. Still, we can't call it as adjacent angles here because it doesn't have separate interior. If you see that the interiors are common here. So be very careful about these types. So no confusion for it. Okay. Now when we talk about adjacent angle, we further move on as like I told you that finding the measures. So if you're given with this say 60 and the bigger one, say the whole angle is say suppose 90, then you know that this is 30 degrees. If say this is given as 80, so you know that remaining will be 20 degrees. Okay, so on. Now when we talk, this could be, it could be in this form also. Okay, so you could see here, if I name it as the X, Y, Z, and T, you could see here angle X, Y, Z and angle Z, Y, T. Okay, they are adjacent to each other. Okay, and what more? They are complementary also. Okay, so remember this type, it could be the combination of many like complementary angles. Now, the very important concept after this in connection to it you learn are linear pair of angles. Okay, you remember linear pair of angles? What does it say? If two angles are adjacent, adjacent means satisfying this condition, and they are supplementary as well. Remember supplementary? What is the supplementary angles? What are the angles which have its sum as 180 degree? The sum is 180 degree and they are connected with each other also. That is, they are making adjacent angles. So such pair of angles are called as linear pair of angles. For example, you can see here the sum is 180 degree. Okay, that means there's two angles. Could you see here AOB and angle BOC? Right? These two angles you could see here, the pair AOB and angle BOC. You could see this pair is making 180 degree. That total will come as 180 degree. Also, they are adjacent angle with common vertex, common arm, and the joint interior. So we could say these two angles are adjacent angles. We could say this angles are supplementary angles. In hence, the pair of angles which are adjacent as well as supplementary, we call them as linear pair of angles. Please remember this is the most important concept we are going to connect with. Linear pair of angles. Some diagrams it could be like this. Now, we are traditionally we make the diagram in this way, but do remember when I draw the diagram something like this. Okay, then also could you see here this makes line. So naturally this pair of angles, if this is the value A and B, it would be definitely a linear pair of angles. It could be in any direction. Okay, the condition is the same, that the sum will be 180 degree and they are adjacent angles also. So if they satisfy both the condition, you could say them as linear pair of angles. Traditional way we draw like this, but it could be in any direction. Right? Now let's move on to the other part which we have already seen, drawing of two lines. When I draw two lines, what do I get it? So what kind of lines I'll get it? So one is parallel and the other is intersecting. So if I draw intersecting lines, okay, when we draw two intersecting lines, say this is line L and M. As you know that I've already discussed with you, lines can be named with a small letter O, right? So I've given two names here to the line, and say suppose I'm taking this as the vertex, something like this line AB and line CD. So you could see here you get four angles, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right? Now we will make the relationship between these angles. Which type of angles are there? Now look at this. Okay, so if I talk about these two angles, what you would see, just now I taught you what we discussed. It's making 180 degree and they are connected to each other, that is adjacent angles. And hence we can see that angle 1 and angle 2 are linear pair of angles. And what do we know about linear pair of angles? That their sum is 180 degree. That is, if one of the angle you know, you can find out the remaining angle. So that is angle 1 plus angle 2 is equal to 180 degree. That's what we know. Okay, look at this part. If I talk this as, say, suppose this is angle 3, then look at this. Isn't it making linear pair? So I can say here angle 2, there's angle 3 is also making the sum 180 degrees because they're linear pair of angles. And similarly, if I mean this as 4, I could say angle 1 plus angle 4 is equal to 180, isn't it? So when we draw two intersecting lines, how many pairs we get it? Okay, we get the three pairs. We are making linear pair with each other, 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 3 and 4 also, right? And 1 and 4. So this way we get all four pairs which are making linear pair with each other. Okay, so now just pay attention and I'm moving on to further concept. Okay, now if I say, look at this two, angle 1 and angle 2 is also making the sum 180 degree. Angle 2 and angle 3 is also making the sum 180 degree. That means if whether I say angle 1 plus angle 2 or I say angle 2 plus angle 3, both are equal. Since the right hand sides are equal, we could say left hand sides are also equal. Okay, so that means angle 1 and angle 2 both are equal. And this is some numeric value, so we could cancel this, isn't it? And hence we get angle 1 is equal to angle 3. Let's see where is angle 1 and angle 3. Can you see this? What is the name of angle 1? It is angle AOC is equal to angle BOD. Do you remember what it is? You have learned it before, this concept, but I showed you how are they equal. Whenever I draw X, okay, that is two intersecting lines. What do I get it? I get linear pair of angles and I get vertically opposite angles. Okay, whenever we draw two intersecting lines, we get two different type of angles, that is linear pair of angles, and we get pairs of vertically opposite angles. And what do you mean by vertically opposite angles? You can say, simply remember, X, if it is X, then up and down makes a pair of vertically opposite angles, right and left make a pair of vertically opposite angles. Okay, so how many pairs you get in all? You get two pairs of angles which are vertically opposite. And what do you see about the measurements, right? Vertically opposite angles are equal in their measurements. So this is one of the common proofs which comes in the exam that prove that vertically opposite angles are equal. Then what do? We draw two intersecting lines and use the concept of linear pair of angles, okay? And we show that the two pairs of angles are equal. So you have learned mainly here the most important concept of linear pair of angles and vertically opposite angles. I hope it is clear to everybody. Those who joined right now, quickly have a look here. When we draw two intersecting lines, we get four pairs of linear pair of angles, and linear pairs of angles are what? Adjacent as well as supplementary angles. And using this concept, we can show that vertically opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite means up with down, it makes a pair, and right with left, it makes a pair, and the measurements are equal. So please remember, linear pair of angles, the measure is they are supplementary, that is the total. The sum is 180 degree, and vertically opposite angles are equal to each other. Okay, should not be mixed up. So be clear about it. Okay, so let's move on further. I hope you understand linear pair of angles and vertically opposite angles. So next we are moving on to one important thing I would like to tell you. If you see, this is chapter number 6. So please remember chapter number 5 as it is deleted from 2019 only. We don't have Euclid's division lemma. You can go through it definitely because it has some concept which you can understand it. Okay, so based on this we will be dealing questions. So let's see what kind of questions you could solve it. If you have the book, you can open the textbook. Otherwise, pay attention here. For example, I'm taking your exercise, first question of your exercise. Okay, it's given that lines AB and CD intersecting at O. This is the diagram. Okay, this is A, B, E, this is C. this is, we are given here that this is exercise 6.1. Okay, here I'll be dealing textbook questions also, which will help you to understand more. Don't worry about solutions. I'll try to send you the solution as early as possible. What are you given here that these lines are intersecting line AB and line CD? Could you see line? Now, whenever it is a line, that means you remember that you will have the linear pair of angles, right? You will get a pair of linear pair. So that means the total is 180 degrees. Please remember that. Okay. Then we are given that angle AOC plus angle BOE is equal to 70 degrees. So you see AOC plus BOE. Okay. So if you see AOC is here and BOE is here, these two angles added gets us as 70 degree, and angle BOD is given as 40 degree. Could you see where is it? So we are given with this angle BOD is equal to 40 degree. Fine. We have to find out. So what is the question now? Please pay attention. Yeah. To find angle BOE, we have to find out one part, that is measure angle BOE. Could you see only BOE? We are given this total, right? So we have to find out this. Okay. And what is the second part we have to find out here? It is reflex angle COE. Okay. So we'll see this. First, let's go for BOE. That is BOE. We need to find out this one. Now, what are you given with? AB and CD are intersecting each other, right? Could you see they are intersecting each other at O? It's given. So that means what pair of angles you make it? Whenever you get X, I told you, whenever you get X, you get two pairs of angles. Linear pair of angles, that is total 180 degree. That is you have to search for Y, isn't it? You've seen, it's kind of X. When intersecting, yes, it makes X. But out of X, when you see like this, it makes kind of Y, reverse Y or straight Y. And its sum is always 180 degree. And when I say up and down, right and left, that is we are talking about vertically opposite angles. So look here, aren't they vertically opposite angles? So we are given with AB and CD, okay, intersect at O. We are given. And hence we can say angle angle AOC is equal to angle BOD. They are vertically opposite angles, and hence we get, what do we get? And therefore angle AOC is equal to how much? 40 degree, isn't it? This is 40, so this is also 40 degree. I hope this is clear to you. And what are you given with? Angle BOD is 40 and AOC plus BOD. This is 70. So let's substitute AOC plus angle BOE is equal to 70 degree. We got this is 40 plus angle BOE. So naturally, how much is BOE? This is 70 and this 40 will come here with the minus sign. So BOE is 70 minus 40, that is 30. So we get our first answer. We got this 30. Okay. Now look at the second part. Reflex angle COE. Now COE. Where is COE first of all? Okay. So look at this part. COE is here. But you don't want this COE. You want reflex. So you want this COE. Isn't it? Okay. You want this COE. So two ways. Either you can find out this. Okay. Now how to find out this? Look at this part. AB is a straight line. Okay. So this sum here, the straight angle, so it will make 180 degree. So how much will be COE? Right? It would be 180 minus this 40 plus 30. So how much it will get it as? 110. Now see, these are more than two angles. Okay, so you will just take it as a sum of the angles. You won't call them adjacent angles. Adjacent means pair, means only two angles. So here we will find out this as 110. And once this is 110, how do you find out reflex angle? Subtracting from complete. That is 360 minus 110. We get this part. That is 360 minus 110. So we get it as 360 minus 100. That is 260 and one more 10. So 250 degrees. Yes, some of you are correct. So how to write it down? Please look at it. And then we move on further. We got this. So angle AOC plus angle COE plus angle BOE 180 degree. Generally, please remember that you have to write down the reason for what you do. I know everybody can write it, but what happens generally, students forget to write the reasoning. So you have to write it down why. So this is straight angle property. Because it is 180 degree, we make it as so sum is 180 degree. And hence here, angle COE will be, directly you can say 180 minus 70. So we get it as 110 degree. And therefore, reflex angles COE will be 360 minus 110. So that is 250 degree. I hope this is clear to you all. Quickly, these were our questions, angle BOE and COE. So using the property, see, you can move on for the steps as you want. I could have done this also. मुझे ये find करना था AOD, तो पहले ऐसा भी हो सकता था कि मैं इसको find करती यहाँ पे. So I can say 180 minus 40. 180 minus 40 is 140 degree. Okay. तो ये आ गया, तो ये 140, ये 40, 40. I can add this here also, and I can find plus 30 degree. ये सारे find करके मैं reflex angle find कर सकते हैं. So there are more than one ways to solve the sum. So you should not get confused. If you have done with some other method, you can try. Definitely you can try. ऐसा कोई रूल नहीं है कि नहीं, बस आपको ऐसे ही चलना है. Because there are more than one ways to solve the sum. I hope this is clear. Written part, you don't worry, because once you will understand, even you can try your own to write it down. But remember that you have to write the reasoning also. Okay. The second one says, it takes much time, so incorporate, right? और साथ साथ में आपको definitions भी learn करनी है this angles, so that you remember which are what. Okay, now let's see what is the second question. It says something like this. Right, I'm a little bit problem for you. It won't be clear. Okay, this is 90 degree here, and there is a line passes through it. Okay, this is A, this is B, and this is named as X, Y, P, M, and N, and you're given this as C. Okay, so now these are intersecting. Okay, and what are you given with? We are given with two things. Angle POY is 90 degree. So you see angle POY as 90 degree here. Okay, and you're given that the ratio of A is to B is equal to 2 is to 3. Okay, you have to find out the value C. This value. Okay, these values are always written with the small letters. Fine. So remember that naming of the angles is always with a capital letter, and when they use small letters, means they are the values. So here I don't need to write angle A, angle B like this. Okay, because it's a value of the angle. That is a numerical value it will be having. These are unknowns. जैसे हम x y देके equation solve करते हैं उस तरीके से होगा. So please remember. Now, what are we giving with? Okay, तो हमें जो दिया है ratio. Now you know that x y is right. So straight angle that is 180 degree. और वहाँ पे यहाँ पे ये 90. So naturally यहाँ पे भी 90 होगा, isn't it? And you're given with the ratio. So we can say that let A is to B is given as 2 is to 3. It's given to us. So therefore, let angle M, this naming is here O, MOP, जो कितना है MOP आपका A है, B 2x, यहाँ पे x का use हुआ है already है. So let me take something say 2k and angle MOX, इसको मैं लेती हूँ 3k. ठीक है, some variable जैसे हम x लेते हैं यहाँ पे, but I'm using here already capital X is there, so I'm going with bit different value or like this alphabet so that you don't get confused. अब हमें पता है कि इसका sum कितना है 90 degree. So 5k is 90 and you get 5k is 90, so that means value of A is 18 degree. 95 divided by 5, so we get this is 18 degree, and hence we get A as 2k, that is 36 degree, and B is 18, 3 are 54 degree. Okay, so now you got this. Now look at it. What are you given with line MN? As I already spoke, it's a line. And when it is a line, means it makes 180 degree here. And how much is B? We know this is 54 degree. And it will make linear pair. And hence, 54 Last, C is equal to 180 degree. Why? You write the reason, linear pair of angles. And therefore, C will be 180 minus 54 degree. So on solving, 130 minus 4. So you get it as 126 degree. I hope this is clear to you. So on these bases, you will be solving the sums and getting the values. I hope you understand it and you can try remaining questions of solving and you get it. I'll put forward the videos for the remaining uh, this class sums which are there in the exercise. Okay, and we can go further with parallel lines. This is the way say why I did here so that you understand how we do it. Okay, and for solutions, I'll either send the videos or solution on the WhatsApp so that you understand. Any doubts, we could discuss it further, right? And now we move on for the next concept of our lines. I hope this is clear to all of you. Fine. I hope a proper understanding is there and you could see what I'm writing also. Now, moving on further, I just give the idea and we end up the session here. Only the concept part, because I want you, once I explain you, I want you to learn that concept very well and, keep it and somewhere lock and save it in your mind. Because this is a concept that we are going to learn it constantly and continuously. Fine. So let's learn that. Now, when we did two intersecting lines, when we talked about two lines parallel or intersecting, and जब हमने intersecting lines बनाई तो हमने क्या देखा? We got two different types of angles. One was linear pair of angles, and the other was vertically opposite angles. Now we go with parallel lines. So when we draw parallel lines, the definition itself, parallel lines means which do not intersect. Opposite of not intersect. अच्छा जब मैं पैरेलल लाइंस बनाती हूँ तो आप कहोगे कि इसमें तो कोई एंगल नहीं बनेगा, right? But if we draw a line which cut these two parallel lines, जिसको हम क्या कहेंगे? Transversal. The line which cuts parallel lines, okay? A line which cuts two parallel lines, इसको हम क्या कहते हैं? Transversal. So please remember this. जब transversal करोगे तो now you could see there are so many angles are made. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 angles I got. And here we define different type of angles. So pay attention. Maybe you've done this in lower classes, I know that. But please, I know this is one of the concepts where you mix up and you make a some khichdi kind of things. So please be very, very clear about the concept. Fine. आपने यहाँ पे देखा 8 एंगल्स है. अच्छा, इस बार मैं पैरेलल में से एक लाइन यदि हटा देती हूँ तो फिर से ये हमारी इंटरसेक्टिंग लाइंस बन गई. Either this or this. फिर से इंटरसेक्टिंग लाइन तो लीनियर पेयर और वर्टिकली ऑपोजिट तो आपको मिलेंगे ही मिलेंगे. Fine. Apart from there, we are going to see 3 different types of angles which are there in your NCERT book. I know there is one more in others, but here what we discuss is we are going to get 3 different types of angles. The first one is corresponding angles. Okay. Now, what do you mean by corresponding angles? Let's pay attention. Very simple concept to remember it. If you will see, when I draw the transversal, it's line into 2 parts, right? If you could see there are 4 angles on my left hand side and the 4 angles on the right hand side of the transversal. Fine. तो एक होगा सेम साइड वाला कॉन्सेप्ट एंड एक होगा डिफरेंट साइड, दोनों साइड कंसीडर करेंगे. सो हियर आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑन द सेम साइड. कैसे? इसकी कोई पर्टिकुलर डेफिनेशन नहीं है, इट्स जस्ट पैटर्न व्हिच वी आर टेकिंग इट. ओके, सो लुक एट दिस पैटर्न. आई टेक वन, leave one and take the next. Take one, leave one and take the next. Or upper side, upper pair of angles on the same side, lower pair of angles on the same side. Similarly, तो उस हिसाब से यहाँ पे कौन सा पेयर होगा? 2 के साथ कौन पेयर हो रहा है? 6. 3 के साथ पेयर कौन होगा? 7. Upper side of angles on the same side, lower side of angles on the same side. So ultimately मुझे कितनी पेयर मिली? 4 pairs. And these pairs of angles are called as corresponding angles. I hope this is clear to you. कोई particular definition नहीं. You have to just look at the pattern. You take upper side of angles, okay, pair of upper side of angles and lower side of angles on the same side. So इस logic से मेरे पास pair आ रही है angle 1, okay, Angle 1 will be equal to angle 5 and corresponding angles are also equal in the measurements. Okay, so angle 1 is equal to 5, angle 4 is equal to angle 8, angle 2 is equal to angle 6 and angle 3 is equal to angle 7. We get corresponding pair of angles, or you can say pair of corresponding angles. It's kind of the same thing. So I hope you understand what are corresponding angles. When we draw two parallel sides and have a transversal, we get different types of angles, and in that we identify the first pattern that is on the same side, upper pair, and make a pair of lower pair angles. We get a pair of corresponding angles. We get it as 4 1. May I know who is this and disturbing the class? Just a minute, Julie. Okay, now pay attention here. We move on further. Okay, we move on further with other type of angles. Here you have to look at the figure Z. Could you see Z in this? Either clear Z or reverse Z. Okay, let's see if you are able to identify. Look at this part. And when I make Z, you could see there are two angles made. Similarly, when I take reverse one, you could see two pair of angles here. And these pair of angles, we call them as alternate angles. क्या नाम है इसका? Alternate angles. Okay, and even the measure of alternate angles are equal. Please remember this. Measure of alternate angles are also equal. So कौन सी pair बनेगी? आप Z देखोगे तो यहाँ पे क्या ले रहा? Angle 4 and angle 6 are equal. And similarly, in the reverse one, you could see angle 3 is equal to angle 5. I hope this is clear to you. So you get two pairs till now, corresponding angles, pair of corresponding angles and alternate angles. So हमें यहाँ पे कितने angles मिलेंगे? For alternate angles we get only two pairs. For corresponding angles we got four pairs. I hope this is clear to all of you. And the last one which we say interior angles. Okay. तो यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा ध्यान देना interior angles because many I don't know, many of have the wrong concept. I had my class 10th last year and they had some vague concept of interior angles. So please remember corresponding angles on the same side. Okay, same side, but with the pair of upper ones and the lower ones. Right? Here pair of upper ones and the pair of lower ones, corresponding angles. When I talk about interior angles, तो आपको interior word से क्या समझना है? Something inside. Okay, so go for it. So you could see something like this, isn't it? Could you see something inside? So when you draw two parallel lines, you get two pairs of angles on the each side, which are inside. They're kind of making C. Could you see this part? So ये जो pairs हैं वो interior angles की pair हैं. What is the difference here? They are not equal. They make the angles supplementary. They are the pair of supplementary angles. That is, their sum is, that is angle 4 and angle 5 will give you the sum as 180 degree. Angle 3 and angle 6 will give you the sum as 180 degree. So these are the three different types of angles. We are going to learn it and we will further solve it more. But before that, you need to understand the concept. ठीक है? I hope ये समझ में आ रहा है. First pair of angles are corresponding angles. Second pair of angles are alternate angles. Corresponding angles and alternate angles are equal in measurement. And the third pair of angles is interior angle. Simply आपको C notice करना है. Okay. So and their sum of interior angle is 180 degree. I hope this is clear to you. Okay. So when we talk about such angles, आदित्य जो मैं पढ़ा रही हूँ वो सुनना है आपको फिलहाल. So we discussed three different types of angles and we talk about three ways, just like corresponding angles are equal, alternate angles are equal, and the third pair which I say angle 4 and angle 5. आप देखोगे यहाँ पे ये अंदर की तरफ है, इसलिए इसका नाम ही है interior angles, and interior angles are supplementary. Their sum is 180 degree. I hope this is clear to you. So you will do one thing, you will draw parallel lines, okay, and name the angle with three-letter angle. I've done it here with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You name them with three letters and try to write the pairs, lines-wise corresponding angles, alternate angles, and interior angles. So I hope you learned this much, revise it, and then further tomorrow we start with the solving sums of this type. But before this, please learn and revise this concept. Okay? I hope this is clear to you. Thank you, all of you. Try to revise the concept. Watch the video one more time if it is required. And don't forget to fill the attendance. Thank you.